What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Mad Creation build, where this time we're building for the Wounded Warrior Project. And man, I'm flipping pumped again. What's up, Barbie? It's good to see you. I'm gonna go ahead and stop real fast and do just kind of a quick little mic check. I just want to make sure everything's going well. Got some new equipment. I've kind of got some things added around here, some extra monitors and stuff to kind of help me out since this is a one-man show. So again, guys, I'm gonna be relying solely on you. If we have an audio issue or anything like that, just scream it in the chat and I'd greatly appreciate it. But before we begin, I do want to say one thing, or I want to say a couple things actually, and that is I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Team Murphy Realty down in South Fork, Colorado. They're the ones who primarily sponsored this build. They are a fantastic organization. I've actually sat down and talked with them before I began to start house shopping and all that stuff. And one thing I loved about them, they were a complete, like, no BS or anything like that when you sat down and talked to them. Amazing people, amazing company. They love our veterans, and of course they primarily sponsored this build. But with that, I got to say thank you to a few of you as well. To Santiago, to Barbie, thank you so much, because of your donations this build is possible. And lastly, I want to thank the Wounded Warrior Project, who agreed to work with me to help us to find a veteran. Without them, we wouldn't be here either. They're the ones who go out and vet and make sure that this is going out to someone who deserves it and who desperately needs it. So again, just thank you so much, Team Murphy Realty. Thank you to Santiago, to Barbie for your donations, and thank you to the Wounded Warrior Project for working with us to help us with this cause. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of keep pushing forward, though, guys. I want to go ahead and show you what we've got with, or what we're working with this time. We're going to do something a little bit different than the last time we built. If you remember last time we did build with a 4060, it was more of a budget build, but we kind of stepped things up this time and we've got something pretty special. So I'm going to go ahead and just go over what I chose, why I chose it, along with the tools and things like that. And Barbie, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you confirming that the sound is going well. So first off, I'm going to step back up. If you remember last time we built with that Montech 100 Air case, well, we're going with the same one, except this time it's in a beautiful white. We're going to go with a ghost build today. So same case, I loved it. I'm like halfway tempted again to go in and buying one for myself and changing out my case at home. We're going to pair that with an ASRock B650 Pro RS Wi-Fi micro motherboard. This one is not completely white. It's what you would call kind of that, it's that peppered, that ice build. It's got a little bit of black, a little bit of silver, a little bit of white with it. And guys, with this motherboard, we're gonna go ahead and step up our game. Instead of going with that little Intel i5 1300F, we're gonna go with a Ryzen 7 7600X. Tried and true. I know it's not the newest thing on the market, but I trust it. I trust this CPU 100%. This thing's a powerhouse. But if you ever want to build something like this yourself, I do think the 9000 series, the equivalent, the Ryzen 5 9600X, is now finally at a comparative price that might be worth getting it. But you're looking at about a 5% difference as far as performance goes. With it, we're going to pair it with a brand new NVIDIA 5070 12 gigabyte card that is in solid white. This thing is freaking pretty and is going to guarantee that our veterans are going to play anything they want to throw at it in 1440, even some 4K and some of those lighter titles. Of course, we're going to give them a nice little M.2 drive, 1 terabyte SSD. We're going to go with some DDR5 6000 megahertz RAM from Team Group. Again, we're going to give them everything that they can. We're going to make sure this thing can play anything they throw at it. And to cool all this stuff down, we're not going to go with an air tower this time because Thermalite has started making AIO coolers. And when I started reading about this thing, I was like, okay, first off, it's quiet, but it's pretty and it's white. So we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make sure this thing not only performs the way it's supposed to, but is just as pretty as my beautiful face. So we're going to set that right here. And to power it all up, we have our Thermalake 750 watt, fully modular PSU power supply. All right, guys, before we begin, do we have any questions, anything like that, anything you'd like to know? Again, I've got a bunch of different things set up around me. I am a one-man show here. I've got me a nice little board behind the camera so I can try to stay on topic today. I've actually got a nice little TV that's behind the camera that's actually got our chat pulled up, so hopefully I can actually read your chats this time. I'm not bending over constantly. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to jump into this. Again, just can't say thank you enough to Team Murphy, to a couple of you guys, Barbie for Santiago for your donations, as also thanking again for Wounded Warrior for agreeing to work with me on this. There's one last thing I forgot, guys. One last thing. I got to have my bougie water for this freaking build because if you know anything about me, the last week I've been going over a cold, but I like sparkling water. I've grown fond of it. It's got me off soda 100%. So we're going to go with this too. I highly recommend it if you drink too much soda. All right, let's go ahead and set this stuff up. I'm going to put the case down on the floor. We're going to get to that first. The first thing we're going to build is going to be that motherboard. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this here. And maybe while I'm doing this, guys, while I'm setting this up, it might be a good time to actually talk about what the One is Too Many project actually is. Guys, I started my business, Mad Creation LLC, which is where I build custom gaming PCs for anyone. But with that, we've actually stepped it up a notch, and I've started the One is Too Many project, which is it's a project that it speaks volumes to who I am because gaming's done so much for me, but it's a way for me to give back. So again, that One is Too Many project is where we build custom high-end PCs and donate them to a veteran in need at no cost to them. So again, a lot of life comes out of this for myself. Gaming, I attribute a lot of it to saving my life. PTSD, depression, anxiety, all of these things are real, and medications and therapy have their place. But one thing those items don't do, or these therapies don't do for people, is help them in isolation. Gaming is something that allows someone to kind of be in their home who doesn't want to go outside because they're down, they're out, they're depressed, they have PTSD, they have anxiety, which means they can't reach people. And the biggest thing they can do is talk to each other. But from the safety of their home, for the comfort of their home, they can turn on a computer and they can jump into organizations like Regiment Gaming. There's a few other out there as well. These giant veteran organizations allow people to jump in and play games with each other that are like-minded and can pull them out of that isolation and get them back into a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose. That's why we're doing what we're doing. The whole point of the One is Too Many project is to end veteran suicide by getting people out of isolation. Isolation is what kills them. It's not the depression, it's not the anxiety, it's not the PTSD. Yes, those things play a part, but when you compound all those things on top of isolation, that's when people get desperate. And that's when people just want an escape from the pain because there's no one there to help them. The One is Too Many project aims to solve that, and we're going to do that house by house, block by block, and we're going to freaking conquer veteran suicide together. So with that, The One is Too Many project, I can only do it through sponsors. So if this is something you'd want to be a part of, there is a link pinned in the chat. It's to the GoFundMe page. All donations go towards building PCs. So if you want to donate, if you know somebody who'd want to donate, a business who'd like to donate, please put them in contact with me. My email is down in the description of the video below, as well as they can just jump in and shoot me a chat at any point in time, because I can only do this with your support. And so far we've gotten to do 2 builds. We've got another one that's lined up for DAV. I'm so freaking pumped for it. But guys, let's go ahead and jump into this build today. We've got our ASRock B550M ProRes Wi-Fi board. I do my best to not open this stuff up until we get ready to do this, but I did have to actually look at it because it was pretty. I mean, you can't buy something that's white and silver, not open it up and freaking stare at it, maybe drool a little bit over it. All right, so Barbie asked, do we get to keep in touch with veterans who we give them to? I would love to. So with the last veteran that we gave to, unfortunately, because we did go through a mental or a behavioral health clinic, it's a little bit harder to stay in touch with them. We do have a veteran lined up with Wounded Warrior right now. If all things go according to plan, I'll be able to drive up to Colorado Springs and possibly hand this PC off to them. I think that's a good meeting point for us. It's not too far out of their way. It's not too far out of my way. But I don't know. It's going to come down to the veteran right now. The veteran that we have that's coming up in a later build, hopefully in the next month or two, through DAV, I know absolutely I'll be able to keep in touch with him. But working with organizations like DAV and Wounded Warrior, it's going to come down to the veteran preference. So hopefully, I don't know, it'd be great to build a relationship with some of these people that we can give PCs to. All right, so we have our Wi-Fi antennas. And I feel like I'm freaking yelling, and I really don't have to. So guys, go ahead and yell at me like, dude, you're talking too loud. Calm it down. I'm just really excited. So yeah, anyways, check out this board. Pull everything out and shut this up. I'm gonna try to stay a little bit more organized this time as we build. This thing is black and silver. This is gonna look absolutely beautiful inside of this case. Like it's just gonna be amazing. I'm so excited. You have no idea. All right, so first up, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to install all the little small pieces. We're going to install the SSD, we're going to install the RAM, and then we're going to put in the CPU. Actually, we backed it up a little bit because the RAM sticks up just a little bit. I'm going to install the CPU first, but we'll go ahead with the SSD. I guess I should probably go ahead and get my tools out at this point too. All right, let's open this up. Probably going to try to chop my finger off here. If my wife was here, she'd be yelling at me not to do this. Speaking of my wife right now, my wife and my daughter are on their way to a U.S. track and field meet. So if we roll and if we get past about 6 p.m. my time tonight, that'll be about 8 p.m. I think for most of you, I may receive a phone call with her telling me of her results of her race. So I hope that's okay, guys, if I take that. All right, now with this case, or with this particular motherboard, what's unique about it, and this is something, guys, that I do apologize with, or apologize for. It's something I haven't really, I guess, taken too much time to kind of figure out, and that's motherboards. It's easy to get ready to build a PC, and you choose a motherboard, and you don't want to go too expensive, but you don't want to go too cheap either. And there's some things to be kind of looking for. And over the last few weeks, or really since our last build, I've been kind of doing research on how do I know the best motherboard to buy. Now I am partial to Gigabyte, but that's because Gigabyte typically has better warranties than the other brands. And honestly, to me, that just speaks volumes. If a company's willing to back up their product even longer, it means they stand by it. Not to mention, I've actually called Gigabyte's customer service a couple times. And though I will admit, they're not the easiest to understand, Japan because they're out of Taiwan. That sweet little old lady was so patient with me and my dumb country accent. She helped me through everything I need to do. So this is something you need to look at though. You want to pay attention to the VRM, which is right here. This is your variable, it's your voltage regulators. It's what's going to allow power to get to your actual CPU. You want to make sure you've got a solid amount to deal with whatever CPU you have, but you want to make sure you've got good heat sinks as well. Because if you don't have these, it's easy to go, you know what, I found a $90 motherboard. It doesn't have any of these heat sinks, but guess what's going to happen? It's just going to get hot, guys. You're not going to be able to perform the way you want to. But what's unique about this one and why I chose it is this is about a mid-tier motherboard. This isn't anything fancy. It was about $140. Is it actually already has a Generation 5 M.2 slot right here. So let's say in a couple of years, whoever receives this, they want to upgrade as long as that AM5 platform is still relevant, but they want to get an even faster SSD, they'll be able to stick that bad boy in right here. But tonight we're going to put it in right here to this hyperspeed one. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. You know, again, maybe one day we'll have a sweet little studio or something. We'll be able to have a camera over it so you can actually see what I'm doing. What I can do though is try to zoom in just a little bit. Let's see what happens if I hit this button right here. Oh, look at that. It sort of works, sort of. So I'm going to go ahead and take out this little screw here. Set that right there to the side. Actually, I'm not going to lose that on my black mat here. And guys, I'm going to install that right here. It's kind of hard to see. I might be able to zoom in just a little bit more, but we're going to install our SSD right here into this Gen 4 slot, this Hyper M2 slot. Again, this one up here that's at the top, that's actually got a nice little heat sink on top of it. That one is for a new Gen 5 SSD. There we go. Nice and easy. Ooh, that's actually really, really small. Thank you guys for being here with me tonight. I definitely appreciate it. Barbie, thank you again for moderating. There we go. Everything clicked nice. Go ahead and put this back in here. Probably won't need another one of those bits. We'll take these out and install them later. Just going to set all that off to the side. Actually, what I'm going to do, just so I don't lose anything, guys, I am going to take all of those pieces and just kind of put them back in their box. Because if I don't do that, I will lose it. And we don't want to lose anything. All right, next up, let's go ahead and install this CPU. This thing is a powerhouse. Like, I'm super excited about this. Now, just like with that Intel build we did a few weeks ago, there is a nice little arrow. I know you guys are not going to be able to see that, but there is an arrow right here indicating the direction that the CPU is supposed to go. Because one thing about these little things is you do not want to bend any of these little pins. That would be a bad day. And what's crazy is they don't even look like pins. I mean, they dang near look flush. They're all on the back side of this, but you do not want to bend one of those. So we're going to take this. Sweet. All right. And what I like about AMD is, like I said a second ago, is you have an arrow right here, and you have an arrow right here. So it kind of makes it foolproof for it. Pop it out. And what I love about these, they have these little plastic covers. You just got to let it drop. Nothing crazy. And these little plastic covers that are already on here, they pop right on out. Just like that. So really nothing to be afraid of. Go ahead and set that right there. Okay, so now we have our SSD installed. We have our CPU installed. Next up, we're going to go ahead and put in our RAM. There we go. Now, just like before, you're going to want to put this. You want to look at your manual, but again, I wanted to look to see how pretty how pretty this motherboard was. I've already pulled it out and looked. We're going to use this A2 and this B2 slot. So we're going to use these two slots right here. So if you're ever building one of these things and you're confused about it, if you got a 4 RAM stick slot, it doesn't really matter. But if you have a single, there's a special spot to put it. With duals, you can't just put them anywhere. You actually, there is a specific spot to put these things. See if I can actually get this out without destroying anything. I'm probably not going to be able to. It's Mad Max proof. All right, there we go. Dude, this stuff is pretty. Why didn't I do a white build? All right, so all you got to do is just line it up. It's kind of foolproof. Right there, I put it in backwards. There you go. Listen for the clicks. Listen for the clicks. And there we go. RAM's installed, the SSD's installed, the CPU's installed. Go ahead and get all that into a trash can that I didn't have last time because that's crap all over my room. All right. Now, because we're going to go with the watercolor, now we're going to go with the water cooler. We're going to go ahead and prep the case to get ready to install our motherboard. We're going to go ahead and put the power pack, or go ahead and put the PSU in as well, because when we get ready, we're going to have to do a little bit of adjustments, I believe, with these fans. If I'm not mistaken, the fans on this AIO, they're already going to be in this pull configuration, and since they're going to go in the top of the case, we don't want air being pulled in from the top of the case, just because one, if you live in a dusty area, it's going to pull everything out. Inside that room is going to get pulled into your case. So we're going to make sure that the fans in the front are all intake. What I may actually do, I've actually been experimenting a little bit with the computer at my house, is I actually took the rear exhaust fan and flipped it around and made it an intake, which would actually, I put some smoke in it. It was actually kind of neat. And it made this cool little vortex inside the case. But the biggest thing that I noticed is it gave direct cold air to the back side of the AIO, because what we're gonna do is these fans are gonna be set up to where it's gonna pull air from inside the case and push it out the top. So the air inside that case is already hot. So you are gonna lose a little bit of your cooling performance because of that, because your AIO is gonna be pulling air from inside the case. Ideally, what you wanna do, if we had a case that could fit it, I would love to put a 3-fan AIO and make that the intake. But honestly, guys, you're looking at anywhere from a 2 to 3 degree difference in a performant cooler that's already going to go way above its performance anyway. All right, Barbie, what'd you say? It says, have you got One Is Too Many t-shirts worked out? I remember you said you're shrunk. It definitely did. So yes, I am wearing the One Is Too Many t-shirt right now. If you want to try to look on the back it's got Mad Creations On the front, this one's a little bit, I am going to make one small adjustment to it. I noticed that it is black, so it is a little harder to see, but I'm probably going to make both available. So you have a black little QR code here on the sleeve that actually works. Someone can walk up and scan it. It takes you directly to our channel and to our calls. You have a nice little flag here on the side, and you have one is too many on the front. I will go ahead and say buy a size up. So I normally wear large t-shirts. This is an extra large. When I bought my large, whatever this material is, it's normal stuff. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's not Next. It's like Bella Canvas, which I have a crap ton of Bella Canvas t-shirts, but something about this one, and it might just be this color, guys. We do have an organization that does t-shirts for us. So quality controls all over the place. Sometimes my wife has a pretty red one. It looks like it didn't shrink near as much as my green one did, but just a fair bit of warning. I wear a size large, and that thing shrunk below a medium. Now I'm wearing an extra large, and it looks like it shrunk to about the size that I normally wear. But all right, let's go ahead. Hope that answered your question, Barbie. Thanks for asking. The shirts should be live. There should be a link in the description of the video that takes you to our merch shop. Also, I was going to get y'all's opinion real fast. I know if you noticed right down here, I don't know, I can't figure this stuff out. You'll notice there's a 0 is greater than 1. So again, 1 is too many. Our goal is to get to 0 veteran suicides. So I may actually take that design, and instead of saying 1 is too many, we'll use that. I don't know. I'd love your thoughts on it though. I'm going to play around with all kind of crazy stuff because that's just what I like doing in my free time. My wife likes to read books. I play around with all this stuff. Okay, so next up, we're going to go ahead and move this off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and take our case, and we're going to prep it. So I'm going to go ahead and push this way over here. Go ahead and bring our case up. This thing is freaking pretty. And give me 1 second, guys. I do apologize. I know it feels rude. I don't like doing it. I did have someone send me a quick message real fast. I just need to make sure it's nothing crazy. I am gracious again that I'm able to do this at my place of business. I was going to do it at home in my kitchen, but I've got kids, and that's not fun. So just got to make sure I answer this. Sweet. Also going to take a swig of water. Again, I apologize for that. I'm still coming off of a cold. Today so far has been the best day. The last thing I want to do is have a coughing fit on camera. Okay. We're going to go ahead and lightly peel some of this back. I don't want to mess with it too much. We have our dust shield and our manual, which we're going to keep that right up here on the top. So we're going to see. We're going to check out how I'm actually going to do that dust shield. I'm going to lay it across the top, but it's all going to also depend on the orientation that we're going to do with this AIO cooler. Let's see, anything else we got back here. Go ahead and pull all these tools out. Whoops, did not mean to drop that. All right, now guys, look. I've never built in a white case before, so of course I pulled the case out already. I pulled out the motherboard, and then I told myself, don't touch the GPU because I want to reveal that on camera. But I went ahead and I cheated just a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. All right, I cheated. I went ahead and did a little bit of cable management just to kind of help us out. Now the best part about today's build is we are going to go with the fully modular PSU. So we're not going to have to deal with this massive rat nest of cables that we don't need. So everything back here is going to be fantastic. But I went ahead and did a little bit of cable management just to kind of speed things up for us. Honestly, my wife was reading and I got bored. Why am I taking those off? I have no idea what I'm doing. We need to pull the PSU out. Okay. PSU's first. Set that right here. I'm going to go ahead and put all this other stuff on the ground if that's okay with you guys. Oh, look, we got the shit show. I love your freaking eyes. That's awesome. Oh, what's up, freaking ass? How you doing, man? All right. I've actually never used a Thermalake PSU. It had good ratings. And look at the packaging on this thing. They put it in a nice little case and everything. I'm gonna keep that. Set that right here. Dude, look at that, guys. I had no idea. You know, maybe I shouldn't do this stuff because what it does is it realizes that the very first PC I ever built, which was mine, that I did such a crappy job on picking parts. I mean, I like my PC, don't get me wrong, but I like definitely skimped out on the case. And I'm building with these cases, which aren't even that much, guys. This case was like $75. So just to let you know, um, this PC, so it is again, it's a Ryzen 5 7600X. It's an ASRock B650M Pro micro motherboard. This PC was about just under $1,500 about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Now I do know this particular GPU that we picked, this our Gigabyte 5070. I don't think it's I think it's above $800 now. It definitely jumped back up in price. So, all right, what's up, Mr. Show? You said I just built my first main buy PC. Oh, dude, awesome, man! Congratulations. I'm gonna look at this. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take my PC. I'm gonna box it up and take it to this veteran. I'm gonna keep this one because the white is sick. Like I'm actually pretty jealous right now. So awesome, man. Definitely should have gone white my first time. All right, so here we go. We've got our little PSU. I'm gonna go ahead. What did you build, shit show? Let us know the specs, man. What did you do? I'm not, guys, I feel like I'm yelling into this microphone. I hope I'm not. Okay, let's see. Now, one thing I did notice about this particular PSU when I bought it was all the ones that I've used so far, or at least the ones I built that were non-modular, is they actually had a specific port for these new plugs, these new power plugs for these GPUs. This one doesn't have that, so we're actually going to pull two cables off, and they're actually going to connect together with this GPU. So I did actually plan to build with some white extension cables. I may still use some, I may not, because I don't have all the pieces to connect to the GPU that are white. So we'll just kind of see how that looks. I may just save those for another build. I don't know. We'll figure it out on the way. All right, let's see. I might go ahead and try to zoom us back in. So we got some extra zip ties there. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get this ready. So one thing you do want to do, and people tend to forget to do this because a lot of times, or I say a lot of times, guys, I act like I know exactly what I'm doing. I am still very much of a novice of this. You do want to make sure that your fan is not pointed up. All right, you want to make sure your fan is pointed down towards this. All right, so there's another little dust screen right here, but you want to make sure that your power supply unit is actually getting fresh air. If you put it in upside down, would it really be horrible? Not necessarily, because we're not using 1,000 watt or a 1,500 watt PSU, but it's going to get hot if you don't give it fresh air. All right, let's go ahead and where are my ports? There they are. So the reason why I say that is because the fan is right here, but when you look on the back of the PSU where your power, everything's upside down. So it would be really easy to be like, oh, I got to put it in like this so everything's right side up. No, you want the fan down. All right, you want the fan pulling fresh air from the bottom of the case. So actually, give me 1 second, guys. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're gonna go ahead and plug in just a couple of these cables. All right, so we have our 24 pin. We have We have one of our 8 pins here. Here's our other CPU, so we'll keep this one right here. There's for our CPU. This is for our motherboard. This is going to power up our motherboard and our CPU. And here we go, our PCI. And there's both of these. Sweet. All right, so we'll need both of these for our GPU. We'll need both of these. And we do need one SATA because that's how we're going to power up. That's how we're going to get power to our controller. So we are going to need one of these. We dang did all these cables. All right, you want the Ryzen 9 9900? Oh, heck yeah, dude. MSI 870, Hellhound 9070 XT. Oh, so you got a recent build, man. You got a freaking beast of a PC. Hell yeah, man. Oh, what's up, man? Welcome to it. Welcome to it. All right. I'm like losing my train of thought here, guys. You are confusing me. I'm like freaking, that's awesome, dude. Way to go, shit show. That's a hell of a build, man. Hell of a build. What do you like to play? All right, so we're going to go ahead and take these. Go ahead and plug them in here. Make sure I got that right before I do something stupid. Wait, hold up. I am. See, there I am doing something stupid. There we go. Okay. I don't know, guys. I'm looking at these cables. It's going to look good regardless. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll use these white extensions. We'll see. All right, we'll go ahead and take our CPU. All of these lovely cables here. Actually, I need to back these up. Back them up just a little bit. Back it up, Terry. Call of Duty player. You probably rule Call of Duty if you're running that setup, man. And that NXT H9 flow, that's a good freaking case too. All right, peripherals and SATAs. Here we go. Last one. All right, so just like last time, guys, we got all of our cables. I feel like that's a lot more than I really anticipated. But nevertheless, we're going to get through this. Actually, hold up. We're not going to put a hard drive in this. I thought about it for a second, but I'm going to go ahead and take out, just like last time, I'm going to take out our little hard drives piece. Guys, I just don't like it. Not too many people. I mean, I run one just because I had an old one on hand. But because we're building this specifically as a giveaway, I don't really anticipate anybody taking an old hard drive out. I will include it just in case they want to add this back later. But for the purpose of the build, just to keep our cable management good, definitely just want to kind of keep it out of the way. There we go. Now that's out of the way. Make sure we put this in the right way so I don't fall victim to what I just talked about. And just like, I'm gonna pull the whole tablecloth with me. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in. We're gonna go nice and light though. I'm not gonna just stick it all the way down just in case we gotta move this for any reason. Hope you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. I'm gonna leave just one in for now. That way, in case we got to wiggle anything around. Okay, power supply's in. Go ahead and push all the cables in just for now. Show you what I'm doing. Basically making a rat nest. And then we're gonna go ahead and install this motherboard. Now, one thing I wish I could do, guys, that I'm not gonna be able to do is, unfortunately, just like last time, I don't have a camera that looks over the front of this case. So I'll do my best to kind of prop it up a couple times, just so you guys can kind of see exactly what it is that I'm doing. I hope anyway. That's the plan. Okay. Now, the last time we built in this case, we did actually have to add a couple of these little stands. Go ahead and sit this down in here nice and easy. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I feel like I'm missing one already. Yep, I see it. All right, so we got 2 we got to add to. All right. Where are... Yeah, Barbie, I really hope so. I'm actually hoping this time I'll actually be able to hand them we'll be able to do it live. If not live, we'll be able to at least snag a couple pictures. We'll get to see the person a little better. I don't know who it is. I just know Wounded Warrior did tell me they found me a veteran, and it looks like our meetup place is it might be Colorado Springs, and it might not. I may still get the phone call and we'll have to ship it off. But here's hoping. Go ahead and install these. I may have to grab this little. I have this little laptop stand. I can feel the heat coming off this thing. There we go. Awesome. All right, so what I just did, guys, is a couple little, just little bracket stands we got to put in there to make sure that motherboard sits nice. We just had to add 2 of them. I think the case is preset for like what's called an ITX. If I'm not, I could be getting that wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like an IATX. It's not a micro, it's a mini. But they got names for everything. All right, next step, we'll go ahead and add. Nice and easy. Perfect. Actually, we got a cable that's in the way. There we go. Awesome. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now we just got to decipher from all these different screws which ones go where. Luckily, we've done this a few times. There we go. They don't individually bag these things up. That's the only thing I wish they would do. It'd be nice. You know what? Looking at this motherboard, I'll show you guys in a second. Looking at it, because the motherboard itself is not completely white, and I just could not get one at the time. Um, Using those black cables might look pretty good with it. Now, if it was a solid white motherboard, then I'd definitely be stressing about making sure everything in it's white. Right on, Mr. Show. Right on, man. I hope they can take it and they can do great things with it. All right, looks like I'm missing just one. Hope it brings them the sense of purpose, belonging, healing, and they take that and they pass that on to the next veteran. One thing, guys, people don't, as I'm building this, people don't talk about it too much. A lot of people think it's just veterans that have gone to war, that have PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And one thing that gets overlooked, and I had a conversation with a gentleman about this not too long ago, is whether you served for 4 years or you did 20 years or hell, you made it all the way to 30 years. The one thing, whether you're Air Force, Marine Corps, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Space Force, it doesn't matter. Whatever the branch is, they they uh, they build you into what they want you to be. So they break you down completely and mold you into whatever it is they need you to be for their mission at hand. And so whether someone just did 4 years and got out and never actually saw anything, man, they get out and it's, they're not who they were when they went in. And and that's what leads to isolation, guys. That's what kills. And it's that temptation when you're in that spot in your life and you're going through that pain. And look, it's not just veterans, and I understand that. And you'll never hear me. Maybe one day we can expand to first responders as well, because they deal with it too. I mean, we all do, to some degree. And it's when everything hurts, that temptation just to want to end that pain is so enticing. It's intoxicating to want to be able to do something like that, um, to just to end it all. And it's isolation enhances that. And so when someone's feeling that way and they're by themselves, we got to end that. And unfortunately, in the veteran community, they don't feel like they belong anywhere. And because of that is why. So because they feel that way is the very reason we have so many. I mean, a couple of years ago it was 22, and now the VA says, oh, it's only 17. Well, I say one is too many. It's crazy. We've got to be able to fix this kind of stuff. All right, so let's get back into this. I went on a rant there. You got me going. Okay, so we got our motherboard installed. Everything's nice and pretty. So one thing I love about these Montec cases, and not too many of the cheap cases do this, is it actually does have these rubber grommets. So it makes things really pretty. There's not a lot of just metal on metal. There's not a lot of wires going directly into metal there. So because it's this ice type build, this kind of dirty ice, I don't know, guys. I'm thinking even if we use black cables that come right here and right up here to the top, because the GPU is already going to have a cable coming up, I think it's going to look fantastic regardless. This thing's going to be it's going to be pretty no matter what. So, all right, next step is we're going to go ahead and get this AIO installed and kind of take a look at it and see how we're going to orientate it. Um, I'm trying to think. No, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do the cables. I want to see what it looks like first. So we're going to flip this back around. Barbie, would you say your cousin made a career out of the Army? He made it to a master sergeant, and when he got out, he was never the same. It's hard. I mean, and look, there's a lot of people who go in and they come out and they're super successful, and they have it. And I wish that was the case for everybody. Sorry, guys. But a lot of us, we get out and you just have no, you go from knowing your orders. That didn't work. Oh well. I was trying to pan the dang camera out. There it goes. You know, a lot of people they get in and they get out and they go from having orders and having direction to not having that anymore. And they go from being on a military base where everyone's kind of in the same boat to then they get out in the civilian world and no one knows how to talk to them and they don't know how to talk to anybody else. Again, that's not the case for everybody. I know many people who've gotten out and been very successful. And then on the other flip side, I know way too many who've gotten out and have nowhere to go, and the worst has come to the worst. And again, that's why we started the One is Too Many project. We're gonna solve that some way or another. And this is the best way I can think to pull someone out of isolation is to put them into something where there's a community of people who are just like them and they can play and they can goof off and hang out together. Okay, so we've got our one CPU power, and that'll be for our GPU, and that'll be for our GPU. Let's go ahead and try to stay on top of all of this cable management fiasco. And here's our 24 pin. 4 distinct cables. Look at that. All right. That's what we need right now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and try to bottle these back into here so they don't fall out. I hope. All right. There we go. Now this one, last time we did this, I think we have enough room. I'm going to take a zip tie and we'll just go ahead and take one of these. And we're going to go ahead and put these two together. I did go and buy something the other day. I bought myself some little tackle boxes so I can try to keep all my stuff organized. All right, there we go. So there's that one. Go ahead and kind of push him through. Keep everything up high. There we go. Now, we are going to go ahead and get us back into this. And go ahead and go through this top grommet right here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and kind of zip tie some of these together just so they're not all clustered up. There we go. Now, we take this. It's going to come around. Flip it over. There we go. Now, let's see if I can't show you guys what I'm doing here. I may have to put it on its side though. I don't know if I'm able to clip these in with it standing up. So, got our 24 pin, which will go perfectly like so. Oop, that went in nice and easy. Sweet. There we go. And then let's see, yep, that one I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to flip it over because I got big fat hands. Just like that. Those are both in. Okay. We got our fan connectors here in the back. Not worried about that at all. Let's go ahead and pull this back around. Dude, cable management is like, do you do it or do you not? So this is really my opinion on cable management is don't overdo it. I mean, there are people, and I know you've probably seen it, especially if you watch anybody build a PC. I mean, they'll spend hours routing cables, making it look pretty. Now, I will say that case you bought is excellent. Like, it's got great cable management. Um, but for some people, the biggest thing is when you look from the front, can you see a bunch of cables? All they care about is it look nice and clean? I don't care what the back looks like. So really, it's up to you. My biggest rule of thumb is just I try to keep light cables together. That way I know if a fan goes out, I'm not having to untangle a whole bunch of stuff other than just maybe the cable fans. But anyways, we did a little bit already. Like I said, I kind of cheated, opened it up. Just want to move things out of the way. Let's see, we'll go ahead. So what we'll basically do is we'll probably take this one and we're going to route it all the way down this way. And there's plenty of room next to the PSU to hold it. So we'll be able to kind of flip that and that'll stay nice and flush. This one, we're just going to kind of bring it down and push it in. And I may just go right here off of this one and we'll hold them down nice and tight. We'll see if we need to put anything inside of there first though. Okay. There is that is for our fans. Here's all our connections for the case. The thing is powered up. Let's see, anything else I can do real fast before we go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put an extra one of these screws in where the PSU is. It's just kind of shaking around just a little too much. I don't like it. Tell you what, let's go ahead and pull that one out. Might have got it a little too tight. This particular PSU actually has a couple different little holes in it. All right, there we go. Put you in right here. There we go. I like that. There we go. Sweet. Kind of fits in there a little weird. Oh well. Looks like it's a little smaller than the last one that we built with. All right, we'll do that. Plenty of room. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's go ahead and get this, let's get our AIO hooked up. Now, we talked about it before, and I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna let that person dictate it later. And so what I did in my personal case, that I was talking about before, is I took this particular fan and I just kind of flipped it around. So basically air came in both ways. I put a little bit of smoke in it, and it actually it made this cool little vortex. But what I noticed the most is this little bit of air here. It didn't have much effect on the three intakes coming in the front, and it provided direct fresh air that got immediately sucked up into the AIO. Because when you put them on the top, you don't. I mean, you can if you want to. You can have your top fans intakes. I don't recommend it, especially if you live anywhere near like where I live. I live in a very dusty area, so I don't want any dust coming in on the top at all. So I flipped them around, and so my actual AIO is an exhaust fans, which it probably makes my CPU run maybe 3 to 4 degrees hotter under intense load. It's not much. It doesn't. My CPU only gets hot when I am not rendering a video when I'm done editing, but when I'm making proxy media in Adobe Premiere, when I'm taking my initial file and kind of dumbing it down so my computer can read it better. When I make proxy media is the only time I ever see my CPU get over 90 degrees Celsius, and it's only for a couple minutes, and it never goes above 95. Makes me a little nervous, But as soon as that proximity is done, everything drops back down into the 50s and 60s. It's crazy. Okay, I'm done talking. All right, so you want the Corsair Icelink fans? Oh yeah, it's legit. Okay, so you asked my thoughts on those Leland Lee wire. I've never used them. I've I need to be better at this so I can actually talk to you guys. I feel like I'm not doing it. I look over at my laptop and I just see my hands. I've never actually used or even seen anyone so far use the wireless ones. They look really cool. I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube of some guys showcasing them. Definitely interesting, and I would love to do a build with them later. Just like I would love one day to be able to do like one of these super builds and actually put in a water block and do true water cooling. Does it does it perform any better than an AIO? Not really. If you've ever seen the benchmarks of true water block cooling over an AIO, they're literally the exact same thing, other than you have a nice reservoir with some actual coolant in it. But that's what's inside these AIOs. You just have a little bit more fluid, so you get a little bit more heat dispersion because you do have a reservoir block with more water in it. But you're looking at a $600 water block kit for 2 to 3 degrees difference. It looks fantastic. So if you want aesthetics, go for it by all means. But I kind of went off on a rabbit trail there, so I'm sorry you were asking about wireless fans. They look awesome. And I would love to dig into it and possibly do some tests later. Again, we're very, very young in our channel, very young in our business. I would love one day to be able to sit down in my studio, once we actually build a studio, and just put things on a block and just run test. Guys, I enjoy doing this so much. Like I just got so addicted with building PCs, and now I just want to build the craziest things that I can. So I can't make a promise because I'm sure at some point I'll have to duplicate something, but I would love it for every single one of our veteran builds that for something in it to be a little bit different, that it can truly be a mad creation. Okay, let's go ahead and pull out this AIO. Y'all are going to get me talking too much. My wife yells at me for this all the time. I talk too much. All right, so let's see. How do I open this? How do how do I open it with not tearing anything up? Oh, oh, okay. I think they went a little overboard on the protection there. Hey Barbie, how's everything looking? Is we getting any kind of weird? Is the stream looking okay? Is it like kind of backing out or anything like that? I don't know. What do you say? I run a drama channel. I get sidetracked all the time. Dude, you're not distracting me at all, man. Sometimes I just start talking and it's ridiculous. I don't stop. Who is that person on one of our gaming videos? What'd they say? Barbie, what'd they say? Oh, it was like I didn't go 5 seconds without saying something. That's a lie. Okay, so it looks like okay, so our fans are already in the right orientation. So what I mean by that is it's already an orientation where the air is going to be pulled this way. So that's even better. That means I don't have to actually do anything other than mount this in the correct way. And for those of you who have never built with one of these before, you always want your radiator up top. So if you, and I don't mean like up top in the case, but like, let's say you're doing this, you either want you want your radiator higher than your pump. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you want to put your radiator in the front, that's fine because your pump's going to be slightly lower. So just like the radiator in your car, it works the same way. If you have any bit of air in your system, you want that air to be at the top. You don't want that air anywhere near your pump. So ideally, the best place to put it is up top because then all your air is inside of your, a little bit inside of your radiator and there's nowhere near your pump. I don't think I've actually ever seen anybody build with the radiator on the bottom, but I've seen people put pictures up and it just kind of seems a little bit silly. But just in case anyone's ever wondering, you just excuse me, you just want your pump to be lower than the highest part of your radiator, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. All right, this thing's a little stiff, so I'm probably gonna have to lay it back down, guys. Go ahead and see if I can't zoom us back in just a little bit. Take a little swig of water here. My bougie sparkling water. I hope you guys can't hear that. That's kind of disgusting. Okay, so we are gonna go just like this, and there is plenty of room, which is awesome. And we're gonna go, let's see, let's do, it says please peel off. Okay, there is a label on it. It didn't look like there was a sticker on it. I like it. Okay, first things first, we gotta get our bracket on. He really, yeah, he really didn't bother me again, but it's kind of that was kind of a smart aleck back to him. Dude, check. Look, they even come with a little link kit right here. That is awesome. Thermalite is like, I don't know. You have the Thermalite Peerless Assassin, which is like probably number 2 air coolers in all of PC building, and it's like 35 freaking bucks. And it comes in just below that Noctura, which looks amazing and sounds really good, but it's like over 100 depending on the configuration that you want. But Thermalite has now gotten into AIO coolers, and just by giving us this little controller link right here, I am super impressed with that, because you've got your fans, you've got everything. That is nice. That is really nice. That I honestly I can't. Thermalite's on a whole another level, guys. Whole another level. Okay, so here's our AMD, and that is our that's Intel. Okay, so we just need this right here, right? Yeah, that's just Intel. We don't need that, and we don't need any of this. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I'm not gonna mess anything up though. I have never built with one of these before, so I just want to make sure we are good to go, and I'm not missing anything. That's all Intel. So yeah, AMD. And honestly, guys, this is a what am I trying to say? So this is 100% a gaming PC. So while we did go with an NVIDIA 5070, at the time, I could not get an AMD GPU at all for less than $800. I think now, and you can probably, shit show, you can probably actually verify this. I do think the 9070s have now come down into the 700 range, and there's 9070 XTs. I think there's a couple that are in that upper end of the 700 range, and there's also the 9070, not the XT version. I do believe there's a few models that are in that $600 range. This particular GPU, this white Gigabyte, when I bought it, I got super lucky. It was $650. I think right now it's $850. The GPU market is absolutely insane. It's freaking crazy. Like, I know right now, if you can catch it when they get when they come in stock, I think it's an Asus one, an Asus 9070 XT for $599. If you go to PC Part Picker, you can find it. It was available for 2 hours and then it was gone. Like, I should have just bought it, but I'd already bought all this stuff and I wasn't ready to go for another build yet. Which I do want to talk about our second build. Another second build. We have another one lined up. So I am still looking for sponsorships on it, and that's kind of coming on nicely. Again, if that's something you'd like to do, if you'd love to sponsor these kind of builds, again, I make these builds completely free to the veteran who receives them, and I do that through sponsorships. And whether it's a big sponsor or a little sponsor, there's a link again at the top of the chat. If you want to donate to it, you can, by all means. All donations go towards building these PCs. But we do have an opportunity to build, not for Wounded Warrior next time. So again, I thank Wounded Warrior for finding this veteran. I think we're going to have a pretty good relationship with each other. But we do have a build coming up with DAV, which is Disabled American Veterans. We're going to build for a guy that has a pretty severe disability. So I'm really, really excited about it. I don't want to reveal too much. We'll do that as the time comes. But he wants to get into streaming to show other veterans with severe disabilities that they can actually still do things like that. So for him, I am looking to probably do an Intel build just because I know Intel. That's why I don't have AMD in my current computer at home. It's Intel just does a better job when it comes to doing a whole bunch of broad streaming and things at once. But if you just want straight gaming, like the shit show over here, who uh, who has a legit dude. Would you say you had again? You had a Ryzen 9 90. Would you say a 9800X 3D? That is a beast of a freaking CPU. And dude, if you just play Call of Duty, you're probably freaking wrecking. You're top of the freaking charts every time. You're like straight up. You're killing people who are running around the corner because they just can't compete with your system right now. What would you say? You said you hated it, but you paid $899 for your graphics card. Yeah, dude, it is, man. It's hard. Right now, the market's crazy. Okay, I'm done talking. We need to go ahead and install this stuff. All right, so we're going to go, there's our buffers. There is our, make sure I'm doing this the right way. Let me go ahead and make sure I've got all the hardware here. We got AM4 and AM5. All right, so awesome. Okay, cool, got it. All right, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to zoom in again a little bit so you're not going to see my pretty face anymore. Yeah, 9900, yeah, 9900 X3D. That is a beast of a card. I'm sorry, man. I'm still learning all these freaking things. There's just so many different variations. I can't ever remember them all. All right. So what we got to do here, guys, is there's some little plastic brackets here. We've got to remove those and replace it with these brackets here, which will allow us to fasten our AIO. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. You know what? Just for that other guy, Barbie, I'm going to quit talking for 5 minutes. Think I can do that? I'm not going to lie. It's really awkward that I'm really quiet right now. I'm going to quit doing that. It's freaking me out. I can't handle it. I just, I can't do it. My wife makes fun of me so much when I start talking to people. I just can't shut my mouth. But it also feels really awkward to shoot a video and be live on YouTube and not talk. I don't know if I can do that. I'm about to like cut that out when I go back and edit this for later.
It would be really nice, to have a camera over my head right now so you guys could actually see what I'm doing. You mean like the people who can do the no commentary videos? I don't understand that either. Okay. Now I will say it is a little bit confusing. Excuse me. Whenever you're looking at this stuff, and I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong here. So this is that's the entire Intel bracket. So based off the instructions here, the AM4 bracket is the same as the AM5 bracket, which is kind of weird. But again, I went back and looked. I just want to make sure we're not messing anything up. The last thing I want to do is put the wrong thing on. Okay, so go ahead and take these. I have a gigantic fly flying around this stuff. This is ridiculous. That thing came out. It's like a freaking bee. So I'm gonna show you what I'm doing here, guys. I'm like off the camera here. I'm sorry. I'm just prepping these cables real quick so we can go ahead and slide them through, and I'm not worried about them getting pulled back out. Take these and bundle them back up. Take those and do the same thing. Yeah, you enjoy the new face camera. I was really hesitant about doing that thing, but I feel like you get to see more of who I am. All right. Try to be gentle with this, if that's even a thing. Taking these little twist ties and I'm just kind of bringing these together. This stuff should never be seen. There we go. And then we'll slip these through. There we go. Everything's together. Perfect. All right, I'm going to move some of this other stuff out of the way so we're not sitting on top of anything. Got our radiator mounting fan or screws. Okay, everything there looks good. There's plenty of clearance. Don't want to put it in too tight. these these little magnetic screws are getting all over the place. This little fly wants to die. Little flipping jerk. And there we go. The radiator part is installed. All right, so what we're not going to do today, guys, is I think the last time we built, it took us a little bit longer. I went into the whole Windows install and all that crazy stuff. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to, when I take this computer back home, I'll install Windows and connect it to the internet and do all the updates and make sure the recipient doesn't have to actually do anything. Like ideally, they're just going to go in and create their profile in Windows and that's it. They'll be able to turn it on and everything. So what we will do is we will boot this thing up just so we can make sure it actually works. And we'll boot it into BIOS and we'll go ahead and I do have the updated BIOS. I debated if I should do that first or not, but I wasn't. We're building on a Ryzen 5 7000 series, so that's what this motherboard was built for. So we shouldn't have any issues with the BIOS. Now, if we were building with something like what the shit show has over here, then yeah, we'd absolutely have to go ahead and update the BIOS first because it'll not be on the same level for that 9000 series cards. But okay, so radiator is installed. Wires are in the back. Again, this little fly, it's a little flip and jerk. It's gonna freaking land. It's like this one time I was doing some public speaking. Where was I at? I don't remember where I was at, and a freaking spider came down in front of my face. It took me a minute to realize what it was, but it was like this itty bitty little spider, and I could see it out of the corner of my eyes. And I'm sitting there talking, it kept like drawing my attention to it, and finally it just it got right in my face. It was like, "What's up, dude?" And yeah, that was. I don't know why I really even shared that, but okay. We're going to go ahead and take this off. Actually, I'm going to leave it on real quick. I just want to make sure. All right, perfect. Everything is going to line up the way I want it to. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. sure those are nice and flush. Go ahead and fasten that back before we try to put this in. I'm going to go ahead and push this through. You know what we should do one day? Now, I won't be talking if we do it, but it's we ever get a chance to do like a real easy budget build, um, which we may have the chance to do here pretty soon. We should set everything up and just see how fast I can put one together. Because typically this takes about an hour, hour and a half, but because I'm sitting here talking to you guys, explaining everything, it takes me just a little bit longer. But hopefully it ain't like oh dang it. Like last time, what did we do? Last time we did a live stream, we built that computer. It was almost 4 hours long. That was crazy. I do not like that sitting right there. I don't like that. Do it. No. Sorry guys, I'm like orientating this thing and want to make sure it's exactly how I want it. And I don't know if I like it right there. That's better. Okay, cool. I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing again. One day we'll put a camera up that works. Spend 2 days working on yourself because you're second guessing yourself. It'll happen. It'll definitely happen. I like my wires to be super pretty, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Is just kind of looking at the orientation of that wire, but I think that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and give myself some slack. We'll pull off this little membrane here. Actually, guys, no, I don't. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what I always do, and that's just gonna second guess everything I do for myself. I think we'll put it in right here. That'll be better. Okay. It's a long freaking cable. All right, we'll pull off the tape, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use I like Thermalright's got some pretty good stuff, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and just use their paste, and because it is a Ryzen, it's a Ryzen CPU. It's square, so the Intels are a little more of a rectangle. The easiest thing to do is just put a single little pea-sized dot on there. I don't get fancy with it. I don't pull out the little spatulas and try to get it all pretty. I mean, if I want to do that for a show, I can, but I just don't do that. For Intel, I usually do one little line down the middle because it is a rectangle. For AMD, it is a squared off CPU, so a little pea-sized dot is all that you need. Go ahead and put that in now. There we go. Save that for another use. We buy enough of these, we won't have to buy any for a while. And go ahead and lock this thing down. And just like the lug nuts on your tire, you just don't want to do one side all the way. Just one side a little bit, one side a little bit. Just go right, go left, go right, go left, and it gets nice and snug, and that's it. Oh, you know what I did wrong? I know what I did wrong. I think we made our first mistake online, guys. We didn't. I lied. Hold up. I'm going down on one side too much. To the point where I may pull this off and reapply this paste. I think I am. Well, we made one little mistake, guys. Oh well. It's an easy fix. I would recommend, if you don't already have these things come in handy. What's life without a little bit of fun, right? All this paste off. We're going to pull that CPU back out and clean it off again. I don't like it. Got to see what I was doing wrong there. What you get with building with new components too, I guess. And we will set that right here in a second. Make sure we don't damage anything. So this is what I had to do, guys. I just pulled it out a little too much and wiggled it around. Spread the thermal paste around a little too much. The bracket wasn't going on the way I wanted to. I was putting a little too much pressure on it. I didn't like it, so I backed it off. I'm gonna go back and make sure we're not missing something. And the only AM5 bracket we have is this one, but it didn't feel right. And if you feel like you're pressing down a little too much, I would just tell you to go ahead and stop and back up. Don't try to force something in these PCs. You will definitely damage something, and then everything's ruined. I'd rather y'all see me make a mistake like this than force something to happen and actually break the PC. Nice and easy. Just like that. We'll leave that there. There we go. Let's look back. What did I do with that? There it is. When you build with these, the AM4 and the AM5 socket are the exact same. Now that's weird to me, but that is what the instructions say. All right, that's cleaned off. Make sure that's orientated the right way. Drop it down in, nice and easy. There we go. Interesting. Very, very interesting. It was almost like there was a high spot or something on it. Tell you what, before we try to do that again, before I put any paste on it, let's go ahead and see if we can't get this thing to sit and see what was going on with it. Because that was weird. Because just like that, it just feels like it goes on nice and easy. Like that, it feels like it's sitting. But now it's not. Hmm. How does that feel off? I don't know, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. There it goes. That's weird. That did not go on as easy as the Peerless Assassin bracket does. Would you say it would be a Mad? Yeah, no. Tell me about it. Wouldn't be a Mad Max video without a problem, would it? All right, we'll back it off. That verified it fit. That was just weird. But okay, let's good thing they give us enough. You know what? This stuff, like, honestly, hmm, I'm not gonna use it. Maybe that was for the best. Let's go with something a little better. Let's go with some Corsair. That was weird. It like wouldn't even stick to it. There we go. Maybe that was for the best. I guess only time will tell. Now let's put this thing back on. I don't know what I did, guys. It went on no problem that time. I'm just gonna say it's quality control. Because that second little part of thermal paste that came out, that looked like it was dried out. A little tighter. There we go. Perfect. All right. Disaster averted. Now all we got left is we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and plug in the AIO, make sure everything's plugged in, and then we'll go ahead and put in all the switches and nut parts. Go ahead and plug in the fans, and then lastly, we'll just have to put in the GPU and turn this thing on for the first time. Sweet. All right. Go ahead and pull that through. I don't know, guys, what do you think? I think it looks pretty good. She was kind of a pain to put on, but I think it looks all right. We'll go ahead and do that. Now we have this little fan connector here. And this should allow us to connect. Let's see. All right, RGB, fan, RGB, which we should be able to plug all of these RGBs. So we've got a new fan connector. We've got our fan. So we've got both fans for the actual radiator, and then we actually have the fan for the pump. So everything is right. So we have our water pump fan and both of our other fans, and then we have enough RGB to go right here into our fan hub. So everything should plug in nice and pretty here, which would, excuse me, which should, in theory, allow everything to light up in the same exact way. In theory, we can make everything work. Now, if that person wants to come back later, so they can come back later and change all this stuff up if they want to. What we're going to do is route everything right here. Go ahead and put this in, plug this in to this port. Grab these little pliers here. There we go. Just like that. We'll hang that off. Nice and tight. You can't see it. Go ahead and wrap one of these zip ties around it. Keep it nice. You know what I should do for these? And I didn't think about it until just now. What we should do is order some white zip ties. That looks sick. Go ahead and toss those. Do a little bit of area cleanup here. Go ahead and run this through just to have it for later. We'll run this down this way and we'll keep that controller. Actually, may pull it up just a little bit. Let's see, where could I put it? Might bring it that way. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just plug them in and see what we can do. Make sure you plug them in the right one. So this one here is actually for the pump. We're going to plug it in right for that one. There we go. And there's RGB. Yeah. So there's RGB for the pump. Here are our fans. There we go. And so many wires. All right. So that's got RGB on it. We need to keep it somewhat close. Somewhat close. What we'll do is we'll probably just going to keep it all down this side here so you can't see any of it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. We're going to hold off on that. I'll do that in a little bit. I want to just make sure those are plugged in the right way. We do, excuse me, we do have our rear fan back here. We need to make sure I go ahead and plug it into
Go ahead and move that out of the way. All right, there we go. I don't want to forget about this because that is something that I would 100% do. Just forget about this fan. So we will, I think we got a fan header. We don't have one at the top, but we do have one. Where's it? Where you at? There is a fan header. Oh, at the bottom. This one's going to be at the bottom. So I've got to run this one. Excuse me. This we're going to run underneath and come back up. So that's what I'll tell you what, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just keep all this together for now. Let's go ahead and get the switches plugged in and get the GPU, and then we'll worry about the fans after that. Make sure they're plugged in, and then we'll turn this thing on for the first time, make sure she boots up into the BIOS, and we've put everything together the right way. There we go. Just keep those together. Okay. Now the fun part, which is all of these itty bitty cables. Go ahead and plug in. Go ahead and plug in our SATA. This is what's going to power up our little header down here. There we go. And then we'll plug in an RGB. Plug that in. All right, so what we're doing, again, I'm sorry, I'm not turning this around, guys. Take care, Barbie. So we'll take this, and I'm going to run it up towards the top. No, I'm not. I'm going to hide all this to the bottom. All those cables are going to be on the bottom. All right. The truly fun part. The case cables. These all run through the bottom. Both of these will run to the bottom. We have our USB 3.0, which we will run right through here. Plug you in. Make sure I got that in. Yeah, sweet, cool. Keep you there. All right. Now everything else, we are going to run from underneath and go underneath the motherboard. Do our best to hide as much of this as we can to keep this thing as white and pretty as we can. What I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of wrap these up, get them out of the way. We'll put a zip tie around them because we're going to take that and just kind of shove it right into there once we're done with this. Take that out. Where'd that zip tie go? What'd I do with it? There it is. Grab some of those other ones out of my box. There we go. Slide that under there. Out of the way.
All right, so there's RGB and fan cables all right here. And then here is the USB 2.0, the HD audio, and the power switches. And all of these we're going to route in a couple different places. So flip it back around. And our HD audio, yep, is way over here. So we're going to route it on this side. And then we have our USB 2.0 is going to route up right here. And then all of our switches are going to go right there. So yeah, fun stuff. It's a really nice motherboard now that I'm sitting here looking at it at the same time. All right, so we got our audio. We're going to route it from way over here. All right, that one's ready to go. We'll plug that in a minute. Now we have our USB 2.0, which is going to go right here. And then we have our switches, which all go, like I dropped one. I guess I didn't. All our switches are going to go right here. And then lastly, we need a space for our little 3-pin RGB hub, which is right here. Grab my pliers. If I could actually get it. There we go. Telling you guys, these right here, these little mini pliers, I've got a longer set that a buddy gave me for when we do those big fish tank builds and things like that. Don't need it for this one, but those little pliers can be lifesavers. All right, so guys, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flip this back around and we're gonna go ahead and kind of plug in our switches, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna make sure our fans are plugged in where they're supposed to go. We'll install our GPU and we'll set everything up and turn this thing on for the first time. Again, I do apologize that I can't show you this part as well as I'd like. Hope you guys can find it in your beautiful little hearts to forgive me. I move that. Little 3 pins never want to go in the way they're supposed to. Like, it is being a stubborn little butthead. Maybe we should try a different one, like this one. There we go. And we got our audio. Perfect. All right, USB. Perfect. Now for all these beautiful, fine little switches. You DM me a couple pics of all the white bill I did. Yeah, dude, my Discord page is a freaking mess, man. I don't uh I don't keep up with it enough. I don't have the time to keep up with it. I wish I did. All right, best part about this build is these itty bitty little power switches. The reset switch. Let's see. Everything's labeled, but to be fair, HD LED, reset switch. I actually cannot read that. I might have to pull the manual out for that one, guys. Get my eyes checked. I can't read it. Okay, fair enough. That's why these come in handy. When you can't read it, it always definitely puts it in right there for you. So there we go. Panel 1. There's number 10. It sits just like that. So it's going to go power LED. Sweet. Okay. Take care, shit show. See you in a minute. All right. And then HD, power minus. All right. And then reset switch. It's going to be on the outside. Okay, it goes on the bottom. Cool. It's right there on the bottom. And then power switch. Go right here. Those itty bitty stupid cables are plugged in. Sometimes manuals are a good thing. You know, I guess sometimes they are a good thing. Men don't like to really read those, but all right, everything's nice and tight. We got our audio nice and tight. Addressable RGB. Everything looks nice and clean. All right, guys, so look, this is all we got left now. I just got to plug in these fans, do a little bit of management just so I know where everything's at. I don't want to spend a lot of time into it because I don't want to take any more of your time. However, do my best to kind of show you what I'm doing. Again, we have all of our fans here. This particular little bitty wire. Try to keep everything I can somewhat clean, if that's even possible to do in these things. Go ahead and wrap those up. And we're going to put, I am going to use some of my stuff here. Grab a couple of these zip ties out. Guys, thank you all for being here. I definitely appreciate it. Keep all of that stuff together. What I like to kind of do is, if I can, especially with these wires, I will wrap them together if I can. Like I said, I try to keep like wires together. So all of these, along with the power, are all the switches to the case. So it tries to keep all that together. So this entire section of wires right here coming out, we have the 24 pin, but we also have this down the side, which is all for the switches. I don't know what just happened. I heard a weird noise. Okay. Throw this over the top for a second. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. There we go. See if I can't get that to go right here. There we go. That can be pushed in. Snip that off. All right, so we have an adjust this right here. We have our ARGB. Everything else looks okay. Now we just have this mess. Actually, I just realized I got to do something first before we start shoving things back here. I'll make a mess for myself if I don't do it. And make sure I get these, get my 2 GPU cables out. Now we can do this. There we go. These underneath. Pull them off to the side. Okay. That's nice and pretty right there. I'll put that together in a second. Let's do this. Let's deal with this monstrosity real fast. If I'm not mistaken, we'll just need to plug in the RGB little pieces. So we already have our fans are plugged in. Yeah. Our fans are plugged in. So we need these two. And what we'll do is we'll run them right here. There's one. Two. And then our last one, go right here. There we go. So those three are in. Now we just have, excuse me, what we'll do here is we'll actually take this one out. Should work. Actually, that one might not come out. Where's this one at? There we go. Since we are getting power, now everything's daisy chained together. We just got to plug in our bottom fan, which I don't like that. That's going to drive me crazy. There we go. We should believe right there. So we're going to go right in on the bottom. Guys, I know I'm sitting here trying to show y'all what I'm doing, and I keep forgetting to turn this thing around. All right, so we're going to plug this fan where my pliers go. And she should plug in right there. So now all fans are plugged in. Do a little bit of management, just keep these all together, but we're going to leave that there for now. I'm not going to touch anything else because I want to make sure everything turns on. But the next step, we're going to go ahead and plug in our GPU. Get our GPU together. I've got a gigantic mess right here. That's what I'm known for, though. I just make messes. Okay. Unplug this. Can't even get it. There we go. Slide that out. Oh, I do remember that. These are, you have to pop them out. Poopy. I remember that now. We do have to pop those out, don't we? Actually doesn't look right. There we go. Okay. So, unboxing of our GPU here. Let's see. Oh. Oh, it looks great in its packaging. Oh, look at this thing. Dude, that's pretty. That's really pretty. And then I know with this one, it actually does come with this connection. So this was the one thing I was not exactly happy about. But it'll work out either way. All right, so we'll take that. Let's see which one of these we need to poke out. Looks like it's going to be this top one. Yep. All right, so we'll poke this one out. Guess that would be the, I don't want to say not the highlight of the case build, but I will say when you spend a little bit of money on a case, you tend to not have to worry about these little things. And these, it's kind of being a little butthead. I just don't want to. Over the last few days, I have literally like ripped my fingers open with sheet metal. So I don't want to do that again. Okay. Pull that piece off. Pop the quick disconnect. Listen for the click without trying to break anything. There we go. That one actually didn't click. I could just see it go in. Now, oh, I don't know if I like that either. Oh, there we go. Okay. Just got to push it in a little bit. Nice. Pull that off. Before I actually do that, let's make sure there's no more tape anywhere, which it doesn't look like there is. So that's nice. Now we just got to go back to our screws here. See which ones. I think it's these. They're kind of distinct. These cases, sometimes you just got to push them in a little bit. There we go. Just like that. Just like that, guys. All we got to do is plug this thing in. I'm going to go ahead, though, and secure that down. That way we don't have to worry about it. There we go. Screw that in. And just like that. Oh, dang. I'm pulling my stuff all over the place. All right, guys. What I do with my remote. There we go. Get that a little closer and let you guys take a look. All we got to do now is plug in our GPU and we're ready to go. I'm telling you, that thing looks freaking pretty. Holy crap. The only thing that would make it look better would be if I actually got all this trash out of the way. We may do that in a second. Let's go ahead and plug this GPU up, and then I'm going to take a quick break, go ahead and set up my little my monitor and my keyboard, and then we'll turn this thing on for the first time. So first things first, make sure we got all this right. Again, guys, I'll show you what I'm doing, what I'm having to do. So there are some higher end PSUs, some little power supplies. Particularly, I really like the Be Quiet one and the Corsair. Where now we got a Thermalite, so this one actually comes with two. So we're going to have to break this off, and we are going to put it together like such. And basically, we'll make our power for this ridiculous GPU. There we go. We'll go ahead and fasten those down with some zip ties. Keep them out of the way. All right. I grabbed one that wasn't even ready to go. All right. All we got to do now is feed it through. And let's see, where are we going on this one? This particular build, I do think I'm going to have to go like last time. We're going to go through the front. I would say that's probably the one downfall to this case, is it just doesn't allow for for these GPUs to be handled this way. So I'll show you what I'm doing. The one thing about these cases is there's not a lot of room right here, especially if you're having to dual chain them like this. So we're going to have to come up this way, and we will go ahead and put you in. Listen for the click. There we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's go ahead. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do real fast, I've got this together. I'm not going to do any more cable management. Everything I know is plugged in. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. I'm going to clean off the table just a little bit. It'd probably help if I actually sat, and did the right thing and put this thing up the way it's supposed to be. So guys, what I'm going to do real fast is, again, I'm going to go ahead and clean my table up. I'm going to take a quick break, clean the table off, and bring over my monitor, my keyboard, and we'll turn this thing on for the first time. So guys, I'll see you in just a few minutes, okay? All right, guys. So look, we got this thing freaking set up. So I'm pretty sure I've got everything plugged in the way it's supposed to be. I know my monitor's turned on. We got the mouse and keyboard turned on. I went ahead and put in the USB stick with the BIOS updater. Let's see if I can actually make this work a little better for you guys. Actually kind of show you everything. There we go. Let's turn this thing on for the first time, huh? Watch it blow up. Okay. All right, we got power. Now let's just hope it goes into the BIOS. You can actually hear the air bubbles inside this AIO. All right. All the fans are working. That's always a good sign, right? I'm going to go ahead and shut this door real fast. Hopefully this dang monitor kicks on. It might have turned itself back off. Oh, nope, there it goes. Oh, yes. All right, let's see. Now I got to actually be able to see what it's saying here. BIOS, BSX50. We've got our RAM. We've got our memory. Guys, we are in the BIOS. Shoot, yeah. We did everything right. Man, you missed all the good stuff, shit show. You missed it all. You missed me freaking. The thing started smoking. It almost caught on fire. It was sparking. Doing all kind of crazy stuff. All right. Flipping sweet. Everything is where it's supposed to be. Make sure real fast, real quick. Good to go. Everything is plugged in. Fans are on. Kind of scared myself there for a second. Okay. Awesome. All right, so we need to go to Tool. We need to go to InstaFlash. And continue. No image file detected. What the crap? Okay, I'll deal with that later. Knowing me, I probably downloaded the wrong dang update. Okay, we were just going to go ahead and do the update, guys. But look, everything worked the way I wanted it to do. Everything is being read. Everything. This is absolutely freaking awesome. I am super pumped. Freaking awesome. Okay. Well, guys, this has been it. There's another mad creation built for a veteran. I can't thank you guys enough for being here. I can't thank you guys enough for your love and for your support. I can't thank Team Murphy Realty enough for donating and making the sponsorship actually happen. I thank you to Wounded Warrior Project for finding us a veteran. So the next time you see this PC, guys, hopefully it'll be in the hands of a vet in the next couple of weeks or so. And then don't get me wrong, we got another one coming up here in the next couple months. I plan on doing another build for DAV, so I hope to catch you all at that one too. I plan on doing something a little bit special for that one because it is a veteran who's got a pretty severe disability. But again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Stay frosty, stay mad, and I'll see you all in the next one.